All right, we are live. We are here with a good brother of mine. First of all, this is Wonkish Talks. We are here, Shane Nordy, Church of the People for Creator Mother Earth. You can find us at Church of the People for Creator Mother Earth.com. We specialize in giving people free access to earth-based ceremonies and also allowing them to indulge within the space of healing, earth-based style. And here today with the good brother, who I met within this medicine space back in 2019. And ever since then, if he's been accelerating, he's been growing, he's been working with numerous people. I'll let him explain that. But anyways, just wanted to introduce my brother Ian here. And it's good to see you, brother. Good to be here. And thanks for being on the Wonkish Talks.
Good to see you too, brother. Thank you for having me. Excited for this one. We don't get to have long form discussions enough. Just you and I talking about the work and talking about what's important in the industry. And as two people who have been stewarding the industry realistically, it's important to hear the views, not just of us, but obviously of everybody, and I'm excited for that, like I said.
Yeah, definitely. That's one purpose of these podcasts, outside of working with the brothers and who I have worked for a couple years. I'm also going to be getting new people on, people that haven't necessarily been out there or been talking about their experiences. But no, it's definitely good to get a bigger scope on things. And for yourself, I noticed, seeing your work in today's time, you've been doing a lot of work within the psychedelic space, within people, whether it's coaching, whether it's just going around and spreading the message of helping athletes or people who want to perform at their best level through earth-based medicines. How's that been for you lately?
It's been good. The business model has shown itself. And coaching is where, coaching and consulting is where I make the bulk of my money. The coaching, the industry of I don't want to call it life coaching, integration coaching is exploding. And I'm helping build programs for high level performers, athletes. I have the McCall method, working with, world champion fighters and world champion level surfers and race car drivers and all kinds of people. And it's really exciting. It makes me really happy because this is my life's work. But on top of it all, I have the scientific research that I'm doing with major universities using molecules like ketamine, like psilocybin, like ayahuasca, where I'm working with the Ayahuasca Foundation, trying to raise money through my nonprofit called Athlete's Journey Home, where we're doing traumatic brain injury research, where I'm taking, upwards of 12 athletes to Iquitos, Peru, to the Ayahuasca Foundation. The University of Melbourne is collecting all the data. And, out of the first 10 or so athletes that want to join this thing, there is about at least 60 world titles, and then,
Yep.
It just shows the influence and the accomplishments these people have. There's I've hit every level of this sort of stuff. I stopped working politically because politics are disgusting, but even working in the trap space, the helping consult for companies that want to build good brands. I am no longer the face of a illicit brand because I'm the face of a nonprofit, but it's about being the guy behind the curtain that's helping steward and guide these companies through the right sort of branding, through their ethics, through having good morals, and that moral compass is always on point. So, building one specific brand right now called Dragonfly. That's been kind of my Dragonfly's my spirit animal, and it's kind of been my baby in the background that I've never really pushed, but now we're starting to come out with products. And trying to figure all that out. So I have a multi-headed approach to making this whole industry viable financially. Because I'm not in a rush for money. I have money, but it's about like with the ecosystem that I have. I did this because I got screwed over by a lot of people. All the drama I've dealt with, and the industry itself did me very wrong on a few occasions where I've lost potentially millions of dollars. And it hurt my feelings. So I went inside and I thought, how am I going to not let this happen ever again? And that's how I have to work for myself. I have my nonprofit, which is my life's work for traumatic brain injury research. The nonprofit, the donations I get will pay eventually once the athletes go through the ceremonies, whether it's with you or in Peru or wherever it is. They're going to need coaching after, and the nonprofit will pay my for-profit, and obviously an honest, good rate. I looked up conflicts of interest within law.
Found yourself a good rate in that status, huh?
Yeah, and I found out that what I'm doing isn't illegal, and I, as the CEO of the nonprofit and the CEO of the for-profit, I'm never going to take a salary from the nonprofit. Sure, will it pay for the office in my house? Yes. Will it pay for some dinners and flights around the world to do psychedelic work? Of course. But, I'm trying to have my own moral compass on properly as I go through all these different interactions with the industries, and I speak on stages, and I help people grow and learn about themselves. I have to be the best version of myself, so I spin a lot of plates, but it's worth it. And you see, I live in a little beach condo. I don't drive some crazy car. I've got a small little Mercedes, and I live under the radar. I'm here for my, number one is me, obviously, my daughter. If you don't take care of number one, you can't take care of anybody else. But my daughter is the main person that is the focus in my life. Daddy's not buying a new Porsche because she needs a new horse, sort of thing. You get it. You've got kids. And I'm just trying to push the message of the medicine. There's so many lessons to be learned within it, but to be the person that's not only telling my own story, because it's been told a lot, is to get other people of influence, and mainly athletes, to tell their stories so then people can resonate with them and go, look, my favorite whatever athlete is doing this to better themselves, whether that's to retire or that's to perform better and it's working. I want to try that because I can apply that to my life.
No, that's 100% correct. That's one of the missions that I talked to you about previously about one of our events that we're looking at doing. That's the main goal there is to give people an organic approach, but also have them to have avenues of all walks of healing. That's one thing why I'm glad that I have a broad spectrum of friends and contacts who work in all things, whether it's from sound therapy to medicine, as far as earth medicine or synthetic medicines or retreats or this or that. And but I think that, like what you're saying, about giving people this good side of it and wanting to show that these athletes and people are getting better with these medicines. That's one thing that I'm glad to work with you and seeing the progress within yourself. And it's really cool to see because, like I said, we go back to 2019. We were both still starting and still fresh within, coming out. And it's cool now to see how much we've gone and expanded. And I look forward to bringing that out to the people. That's one thing why, with your org and everything that you do, I'm hoping to see what we could do because that's one thing that I think someone like yourself could have testified to, where I think athletes, because I know athletes, I don't know this. I used to be an athlete, but I know as an athlete, we're always looking for ways to challenge ourselves or to push, whether it's put more weight on or run an extra mile or do some crazy workout or do an extra gym, an extra sparring match, whatever it may be. And so for yourself, how do you see psychedelics, earth-based medicines, helping athletes get to that place spiritually and consciously to where it could be beneficial to them for a fight or for better peak performance in the gym or training or whatever it may be?
Well, the athletes that I work with, I tell them, look, before we can start ingesting these medicines when you perform, which we'll get to later, it's about making them a better person. Because if they come to me, there's a very good chance they're one of the best in the world at what they do. It doesn't matter the sport. I work with some really incredible people. Some people are the greatest of all time at what they do. It's a huge honor. So we get to the core traumas to start are the things that are the driving force behind you performing better. For you, Why are you climbing into a cage in your underwear to fight somebody for blood money? What happened to you? You know, what happened to make you want to do this for a living? And because all you're doing is acting out your childhood traumas on stage. And you're not only doing that, but this isn't like, you know, singing like a rap song about your traumas. No. Or you know, even basketball or something. This is you're fighting someone for blood money. You're giving and receiving PTSD the whole time. And that's why other athletes and people look at you like you're a god, which is the respect, you know, because they see there's sports and then there's fighting, a little different. So we access these traumas at the base of the fire that's lit under us. Now, I don't want to extinguish the fire, but because you're at this level, these traumas are now going to get in the way of your performance, because you get the anxiety and the depression, the brain damage, all these things you acquire along the way that are going to eventually hold you back. You know, they're gonna keep you from really performing your best. And that's why you know, if you're a machine, if you're coming to me, you're amazing. So let's clear all the bullshit out and let's put those traumas in a box and put them behind us. We still need to know they're there. They don't go away. They're never going to leave you, everybody. You know, but you have to be able to not have the same visceral response to these traumas. You can appreciate them as the driving force, but how are we going to get rid of that, you know, the things that'll hold us back? Then it comes down to integrating that into your daily life, and integrating that into your training, cleaning up all the bad habits we have, you know. I mean, I would like to clean up all of them, but obviously it's a work in progress. And then, you know, there's the two ways to think about it. Either what's next, so it's time to retire. You know, you have 10 world titles. It's time to grow up, Peter Pan. Okay, Count Chocula. Give the kids a chance to win their own world title, because people appreciate you for winning all those titles, the fans, but other fighters probably don't like you. You got 10 world titles, you beat the shit out of everybody, or you took these titles from other people through force, because that's how you win. And people in your industry might not have the best outlook on you, but as someone who's won those titles, who has that respect, it's time to retire and turn your, you know, about face and show the world that you're a mentor and a coach, and you can lead other fighters through their own healing. Because for most people, as you've seen within the psychedelic industry, they're very soft, and they hate when I say it's a limp-wristed approach to it. And I don't mean to say that as a gay thing. One of my best friends is gay. It's about soft, weak men. My best friend who's gay will beat the shit out of you. You know, like this is not. It's about weak, feminized men who can't protect fucking anybody. They want the safe space, and they want to have a feministic approach to psychology. Who women want to feel safe and loved. Men don't need that. Okay, we need a goal, and we need tools to accomplish that goal, and some motivation to get there. And we will walk over broken glass. We'll crawl over broken glass to achieve that, to keep everybody else safe. So I like to put people under pressure. I mean, I had a coach very recently say, whatever you do, a very feminized man, and I truly appreciate his method. I don't like it when I saw it, you know, but I saw how good it worked. And it wasn't for me, but I was like, I'd actually like you to try that on me, because it works. But it wasn't my thing. And he said, whatever you do, do not change, don't say or do anything that's going to change the emotional state of your clients. And I was like, boop, I pushed the button. I said, you could chime in, so I'm going to chime in real quick. It's my job to physically choke my clients, whether they're microdosed or not, pre or post ceremony. It's my job to create the pressure so I can turn them into a diamond, because pressure does two things. It bursts pipes and it creates diamonds. And if you're going to burst, I want it to be on the mat with me.
Right.
You know, so it doesn't happen outside.
Right.
So you don't fucking punch your boss in the face, or you don't, you know, go drink because you're pissed off, or whatever it is. You know, so pressure, putting the pressure, whether it's through cold therapy, or there's a bunch of ways. You help these clients access a deeper understanding of themselves and integrate into it, because it doesn't always have to be like I need to get to homeostasis through a sound bath. I love sound baths, but sometimes we gotta work our fucking ass off to do this.
Right.
It's not gonna come easy. And then once we get through this path, all the tools, all the homework, I'm certified with Being True to You. It's a coaching platform that's provided me with an actual set of homework to give people and a structure. Before I was just coaching by the seat of my pants, and it wasn't working the best, So as we go through all this stuff, we check all these boxes and say, all right, they might already be microdosing during training, which I would recommend, especially with fighters because they have brain damage. But now we're going to put in real intention into the microdose, or real intention to what I call a performance dose. And a performance dose is, up so many levels, where, like, we'll say Mark Irwin, my bare knuckle boxer, we just had to deal with this all week. His opponent found out that Mark was on 7.5 grams of mushrooms when he fought, and I was on 5 in his corner. Now, sounds crazy, I know. Most people are like, how the fuck did you even stand? I was like, practice. I've done this a bunch of times. Well, I went on a podcast like this, and I said what we did. Now, with that in mind, I know the drug testing policies of the UFC. I understand they don't test for psilocybin. They don't test for LSD. Commissions don't even bring it up. It's not on the rules. It's not illegal. So when I figured that out, I started dosing people and seeing great results. Well, I had that podcast, Josh Oxendine, oh, you little bitch, I gotta talk some shit. He pulled out of the fight and said, my church and my wife won't let me fight this person because he's on drugs. He's a drug addict. I was like, okay, number one, you spelled addict wrong. Not the addict, like a person as an addict. Anyways. But he pulled out because he didn't want to fight Mark in the first place. And I didn't tell BYB, the organization, that it was legal, because if I say it, they're gonna not believe me. So I just kind of sat back in the background, and Mark's like, maybe you should put out a statement. I'm like, I'm not putting out shit. I know the rules. Like, I know what I'm doing. They'll all come around. They came around and were like, hey, did you guys know this is legal? And I'm thinking, yeah, of course I did, because it's what I do. And man, Mark, that fight, outside of him, the guy pulling out and them finding out we're okay and laughing about it, during the fight itself, Mark, man, he won a world title the hard way. He got dropped in the second round. His face, swelled shut.
Dang.
I mean, but he beat the shit out of that dude. He even though he got dropped, I still think he came out and won that round. Mark battered him around. The guy got 2 points taken away for running. And it was a wild fight. Do I want to see Mark go through that again? No, because it's not good for his brain or longevity of his career, but I know it's in him.
Yeah.
And I know the mushrooms had a big effect on him within that, because for him, taking that much is crazy, of course. Most people want to take 0.5 gram to 1 gram.
Right.
That's a good performance dose. Mark likes to get into this, like, almost hysteria. Like this, like, egotistical belief. He's climbing into a ring to fight someone with bare knuckles. I want you to be egotistical and crazy.
Right, you gotta have something in there.
Yeah, and it flips this switch in him where he gets really fucking crazy and gets into the character, of Mark the Shark. And he walks out in South Carolina and Rock Hill, and everyone's booing him because it's that other guy's hometown.
Yeah.
And Mark's looking around laughing at everybody, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of little kids. The guy's kids or kids from his gym are booing, and Mark walks up and is like, fuck you. Flicks off the kids, flicks off the whole crowd. He's like, now I'm going to go beat up your dad. And he did, And again, this is all, it's an act. It's a character. But it's part of the show.
Right, it's part of show business.
And obviously, don't take a bunch of mushrooms and go talk shit to people. I'm not recommending that. But this is part of our business. It's part of our game. I had some pro baseball player who's going on to the other side, who's all trying to be altruistic and whatnot. He goes, but why would you do that? Like, why? I've never seen you talk like this. Why would you? And you and him and talking, and I was like, man, this isn't fucking baseball. Okay,
Right.
we talk shit to mentally break this person before the fight even happens.
Right.
and it's part of the game, and maybe people think it's kind of gross, but we're really good at it, and the mushrooms, they keep you in the act, but they make sure you still have peace of mind. Like, there's some things that we found out about this guy that, he's shady, and I won't go into it any deeper, but like, for you to be the pastor guy that's fucking, praising Jesus and all that stuff, but you're being shady. We'll just put it that way. I don't want to mention anything else, but I'm like, at least us, we know that, like, we can't even throw you under the bus like this. We can't use this information we found out about you, because, like, your life will be ruined, whereas, like, we're just playing a game. Like, we're still keeping the goodness in us while we're trying to play the game. And it helps you compartmentalize it. The medicine helps you be more quick-witted, a little funnier, and just to know that, the trauma while you're fighting isn't going to stick as much. I mean, this is still studies I'm doing, trying to figure out how much of the trauma we can not let infect us, or how much of the brain damage we can keep away. Because Mark looked fucked up after that fight.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, I don't have a concussion. I don't have a concussion. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Yes, you do.
So you sound like you got a concussion.
Yeah, just keep saying it. But I just need to, once I start running the analytics with University of Miami. So I got the UFC to agree to a study that I'm helping out with the University of Miami with psilocybin and CBD. Mm-hmm. And this is acute trauma. So within 3 days of said trauma, they have to be in Miami, get tested, and then they get paid to be in this study for an entire week. I think it's $200 a day. Don't quote me on that. But I got the UFC to agree to this study. So when it starts, phase 2 starts, because phase 1 already started. That's novel technology. I haven't been tested with it. I don't know anything about the technology. I have to have it in front of me to really, like, pay attention and learn. So once the UFC, like, on a Sunday, they'll fly people after the fights. They fight Saturday, fly home Sunday. Instead of flying them home, they fly them to Miami, and then they're in my hands. And then I will get them paid to be part of this study. The UFC doesn't have to invest any money or anything like that. But once I can test people pre and post, once I get the technology in my hands and maybe get my own, version of it out here, I'll be able to understand more of how much this stuff protects. What other stuff I have to blend in. Do I have to blend in lion's mane? Do I have to blend in CBD? Do I have to blend in, turmeric or curcumin? Or what are these other things that I can put into a little cocktail for the athlete to, number 1, be in flow. Number 2, drop the inflammation and keep off more bad stuff to happen to us. Right.
No, that's a good thing to do, because, like I said, every athlete knows, within healing and protocols of afterwards of working out and going through whatever it is, it's like usually there's painkillers, there's sedatives, there's whatever, there's a shitload, but like what you're saying, it's good to seek out these options, these natural remedies, these herbs, these earth-based medicines to combat whatever it is that is affecting the athlete or affecting the person who needs that assistance. And that's one thing that I love about what we do. We necessarily at the church, we don't always do supplements or anything, but to give people that earth-based dose, to where people need to recalibrate themselves on a more natural earth-based level, not necessarily the whole materialistic rat race world of I need to get this together, but more internally, whether it's spiritually, mentally, physically, all the above. I think it's good to give people that aspect, because I know a lot of places it comes in different forms. It's not always a direct hit. Sometimes it comes in different sections. It comes in flashes. It comes in glimpses. But I like how the Womkish, it just hits hard, and it's a matter of just holding in and taking it rather than letting it overwhelm you and consume you. And I was wondering for yourself, how do you think that could help people within their searches of trying to become better humans in that space? Because I think getting that concept of earth knowledge is it's important, because I've noticed when people go down south, not saying anything bad or good, but sometimes it's a makeshift place, or you're not even on the ground, you're suspended above the ground in some wooden structure or whatever it may be. And that's where I think people getting a more earth-based approach, you know, how do you think that could help people in their journeys to becoming better earth-based people?
Perfect, you bring this up. So I, as you know, I sit with everybody. I was with the Jews in Miami, you know, hosting a ketamine retreat. I was with the Christians in Colorado, you know, helping them with some stuff. And I had to make the point of, you know, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going from these people, to the pagans, to the natives, to whatever it may be. Because everyone has certain modalities or things they use to connect. And me talking about fire, the things I've learned in the Wamkish, was very enlightening to them. You know, making them realize, like, look, the God energy that's inside you, when creation happened and all of us were created, fire was created. So just because our meat vehicles, our earthly bodies are only, 40 years old, how old are you now?
28.
28. Just because they're that old, our energies are so much older. They're from the beginning of time. And that fire carries that knowledge, or our bodies have forgotten. You know, but now we can learn from the fire, and talking to people about adding in and sitting with other cultures. You know, of course, you heal on your own lane, you figure that out, but at least be open to it. Because people always want to associate New Age, the New Age hippy-dippy shit, with native medicine and like earth medicine. And it's funny because I had to call him out. I'm like, hey, whoa. I go, that's not me talking about spirit animals and spirit, you know, and animal guides. And, like, that's not New Age. Like, this you know, like, specifically this stuff is from the people of this land. You know, this is not new. You're just thinking it's new because you have some hippie with dreadlocks who you don't associate with saying it. And
right, or your perception. I was just talking to my friend, trying to interrupt, but that's what he was saying, because I was telling him we should be able to establish better approaches to people on more earth style ways to take these medicines. He's like, yeah, but what if someone does it and they're like all goofy with it? Or I'm like, exactly. I was like, that's why we need, like what you're saying with, is it New Age? It's like, it's not nothing new. This is very old, and you being who you are, you can utilize it to what you need and what it's for, rather than being like, oh yeah, it's New Age. It's like, no, it's the complete opposite of that. You know, we're trying to teach, you know, old ways that have been working for a while, you know, and that's why I just was saying that, because that's how I see it too, with just giving people understanding and helping them break the barriers, so that way people can look past their own bubble or their own conscious opinions, you know.
Yeah, and it's like New Age medicine. It's like modern medicine. People think that's it. It's what it is. It's Western culture that thinks they started everything. And they make fun of the yoga and chakras and all the Kundalini sort of stuff. But then you're saying that's a culture that's been doing breathwork longer than anybody. But now you have some new person talking about it on Instagram. Oh no, it's like, come on, dude.
I'm the best breathing coach around.
Yeah, you know, and not nothing against that person on Instagram, but it's like
I suck at it, so I'm not good, by the way.
These Westerners, and I call it the enlightening of the world. It's not the enlightening, and it's no longer just white folk. As someone who's a half breed, I'm half Mexican. You know, a large portion of that's native, and then half white. You know. I feel like I can talk shit on anybody. No, you know,
we're not here to talk shit, but we will.
Yeah, but we will. You know, the enlightening part I see so much in the industry, and it's well-intentioned Westerners who have this air of enlightenment because they're educated, because they have access to these things, because they do it first. They're part of the first wave of people that are doing this in their minds. Again, because we invented everything. And, you know, the appropriation, the colonization, it's a colonization 5.0 without violence. You know, I get it. You got that little vest in Peru with your shaman.
Care for any of this?
Sure. But you don't need to you don't need to, like, people just want to show it off, you know, and it's like and it's.
Right. No, I agree with you. That's where, that's why I was telling you when we had that call, I was trying to get this group going, because I truly believe that outside of all the jazz, you know, there's honest people out there who want help. There's honest investors. Yeah. There's honest people out there who are looking to capitalize on this in a good way, not necessarily a capitalistic monster, but looking to where they could toss their money in a good way and show forth that they're investing within people who are putting their money to good works and benefiting humanity.
Yep. Not every rich person is bad. Most people are inherently good, and you know, money is sure, it gets in the way a lot of ego, but
and that's what I want to show people, because with our model and method, you know, this is just hypothetically if someone was a big investor, but I want to show people that your money is going to go to giving people free access, no matter who they are. They don't have to necessarily be a vet, a fighter. They could just be anybody, and that's where I want people to see, like, that's something that people need, you know, because I know a lot of these universities and places.
It's expensive. And you got to fly somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Not only expensive, but they have, like, criterias, and they have certain guidelines and rules, and a lot of people don't even want to, you know, get into that. And so for me, that's where I think Church of the People is definitely a bridge for anyone. Like I said, we're not major, we're not huge, we're well known, we're amongst a good group and network of people, but I definitely want people to know that they deserve that right, you know, to have medicine, to take it, and to take it unbiasedly. Obviously, I'm going to have my opinions, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say because, you know, I'm a native, and I understand my background, where I come from, and who I am, but it's not to downplay anything on anyone. It's not to pick on anyone, because I notice some people, they take my words in offense, or they take how I talk about things and talking crap, and you know, I do admit, I do talk about organizations, and not in a bad way necessarily. Like, for instance, if you're a rich organization who's saying that they're helping people with psychedelics and helping people get help, and all I see is PR and selected people to mitigate, you know, your message to its main goal, which is to bring money in and to make money. And I know that you can fund people, and I'm over here being able to give someone access literally like that, as long as I have medicine and as long as people can make the time and make the effort to make it. It's like that can happen. Yeah. And so for me, that's where you know, I will say bad things of like, oh yeah, you know, that's a piece of shit org if they're not actually helping, or they're only committing to their select group of people, when if they're truly about helping people, they should be getting with people that not only understand the locality of ceremony and the understandings of the local indigenous people and the upbringings of that nature, but those who are looking to seek outside of you know, economical fulfillment, you know, because I know for yourself, obviously, I know you know, you're not going to work for free. You're going to get some money. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. But I know you want to help people at the end of the day too. And so, but I know there's other people who don't even, that the only way they're going to help you is if you're paying them, or if you're supporting their org, or this or that. And so for me, I want to show people that what I'm talking about has a seat at the table, as well as all of this. You don't have to come and say hi to me. You don't even have to look at me, but just know that we have a seat here, and we're welcomed, not by your opinions, but by the grand scheme of the thought of this thing, you know. And that's where I think people should look at that more, because I still see a lot of tourism, I still see a lot of checks in the boxes, but I still don't see the wholeness of the community and growing organically with the spirit rather than the money growing with the money. It's like, exactly. I'd rather grow with the spirit and the people that are honest, you know, just like I was telling you about you, Ricky, myself, bro, Mark, other people. Like, our connections are deep. You know what I'm saying? We're not these go-getter rich guys on the fucking things. You know, you've obviously had your moments in time and history, and you're still working at things, and you're still making good progress, but I know the context. We know they obviously can do more work than what we can in our spaces, and that's where I think we bring our stuff together on a whole organic, earth-based way. I think that's where we could show people, like, this shit is a real deal. You know what I mean? As far as getting the earth back, because we already know the studies are going down, universities are there, all this or that. But I always say take it a step further, and now let's get this earth-based data with it, because I think that would only amplify what the science is already saying.
Yeah, once I can get some testing equipment, and we'll set up some studies to see what, you know, those 20 plus gram doses do to the heart, the brain, the body. We can even test blood, you know, and we'll get there. You know, we've been talking about it for a few years now. But the free medicine is such a big part. Like, we had that Zoom with everybody, saying, look, people, we the medicine, obviously we all agree, is free, because there needs to be places like this, because not everyone even has $1 to spend to their name, but they need to heal, you know. It's about the coaching afterwards. You know, my time is expensive, you know, your time should be expensive too, if you educate yourself and you make sure you're a good coach, you know, go up and out of your way to have a certification, to to know as much as you can, all the different modalities you can. Obviously, you sharpen, a few of those modalities more than others because that's what your favorite is or that's what you like working with the best. But, providing a safe space for these people of all walks of life. We need to have this door open to everybody. Maybe
right, and any organization that says there's helping or supporting psychedelics or whatever, I always say this can't look bad on your resume if you say,
yeah,
I support this church who has their own earth-based church who helps people of all walks of life for free. Like, that's not going to hurt your resume. No. And then if they go try it themselves, yeah, it's not going to hurt.
No. And I being at things like the MAPS conference, and I get invited to all the cool parties, and I get to meet all the right people. But I know how shady the industry is, not just because people screwed me over, but because I know this organization is laundering money. These people are legitimate communists. These people are this. These people take Soros money. All this really negative, gross stuff that people try and justify. And, it's scary. Because we don't want to lose the industry again. We don't want to lose the power of all this. And I don't think even though we're having these gross, Soros type influences involved and the manipulation of the veterans, everyone thinks, oh, we're saving the vets. The vets are the only people that get the psychedelic stuff done. Nobody else could have pulled this off. None of this would be in mainstream right now if it wasn't for veterans. So thank your local vet. Because they're the ones that push this. A bunch of Navy SEALs went into senators' offices and said, hey, we're not leaving until you change this, until you can help us. Because, some of my personal friends and mentors who are high, tier 1 operators, who don't, they have no idea how many people they've killed. They know how many times they've been blown up or they've been shot. But, like...
Sorry, get the address for Carmen quick.
To have those sort of strong men who did that for our country go and sit in front of the people in power in D.C. and say, look, this is how it's working. That's how we changed. That opened the door for the rest of us. But people are still taking advantage of these veterans.
Oh, yeah. No, tell me about it. I was just speaking with the SEAL the other day, and this is exactly where I'm bringing him in, too, to where he's at, because he's still highly active within the community down in San Diego and whatnot. And that's what I was explaining to him. Okay, I was like, okay, I get the data, I get the money, I get all that, but then what? Because like you're talking about the integration. Now it has to come with, now how's all this? Because obviously we know that everything costs money, whether it's sending people down south, creating programs, getting staff, whatever. And that's where I was telling him that the church can basically be a buffer zone for not only that, but for people who necessarily don't, like, let's say there's a waiting list, because I've been talking with Jesse from Heroic Hearts, and that's what I was talking to him about, is like, so there's a waiting list to where only so many vets can go to Peru or something to a year, right? So I was explaining to him, like, now that's where the church can come up with the bridge to say, this isn't necessarily what the org is doing itself, but working with other organizations that offer assistance to people who are looking for earth-based ceremonies or sacraments. The church, to anyone who's available, is now opening, earth-based ceremonies. And so that's what I was talking with this bro about, was basically funneling that network in and getting that for groups, because for vets, because like you're saying, they've been misused, they've been obviously put against in this, and I don't think they've been brought in justice. And I think that's where creating that organic community around Creator, Mother Earth, and that community based upon that in an earth-based way, I think that's a score, because I know when everybody's said and done, they need that. They need their family. They need their spiritual, their super higher power to have an understanding. And if they don't, they still have something that's a base at the foundation. And then they need that community. They need the Mother Earth. And that includes your water, your food systems, whether how you grow your food organically, locally. And so that's where I think that is now where we can all come in. Because like I said, no matter what avenue, fighter, veteran, that community being that earth-based, that can help you in any way, just like if you had your own farm, or you had 20 fighters that all pitched in their own farm and grew their own veggies, and it's like it can all help anybody, so that's where I think that's the next step of where at least the church, and where I'm hoping to work with people to show that is all that other stuff is awesome. And I pray that the people who continue to do it ethically, morally, good values, and provide really good things, because everyone is counting on them that want good things. Like myself, I always talk shit about science and data and this and that, and you know, I do count on them because I want them to have strong data and strong things. So when I do present to my tribe, or when I don't, but at the same time, I still know that we do the same things and we have the same process. It's just a matter of meeting halfway or working with people who understand those concepts of getting data and knowledge. Because, like I said, I think what the church has is a big offering to the whole grand pie of earth healing and medicine and work.
Yeah, I think that I'll talk to Jesse as well. Jesse is the person that helped me build my own nonprofit, and he's been a really good friend of mine. I think that having that quick access, like you said, for people that are waiting in line but really need it, you know, I mean,
or don't have the money or can't make the sponsorship, you know what I mean?
They have no access to it. Like I got to introduce, there's some other vets I need to introduce you to. Well, at least once every 2 weeks, probably, maybe more, I get a part of this message thread. Hey, we're looking for this person, a former Navy man, former SEAL, former whatever, Marine. They've gone missing, they're suicidal, we need to find them and give them medicine. So I put the word out to these different groups I have around the country. Who's got a person in Jacksonville? Who's got a person here? So every 22 minutes a veteran kills himself? Yeah. This needs to happen now.
I think it's even more.
I mean, it's just so crazy. So, you know, whatever we can do. I've you know, been so open about this, and it got me praise from 3-letter agencies. Yeah. You know, to where, like, before they used to kick my door in for you know, selling weed or whatever. I mean, of course I was selling all kinds of shit, so not just weed. But to have them now reach out and say, hey, just so you know, we're watching. Yeah. Still, you know, like that was going to change. They've been doing it for 20 years. But just so you know, also, good job. Keep going. Don't do anything stupid. Don't fucking start selling cocaine again or anything. I'm like, I know, I'm good. Just psychedelics, but to know that they see what I'm doing and they enjoy it, and these people are taking the medicines like I you know, provide for people. Some of them are taking medicines from me. Cops, firemen, first responders, people from 3-letter agencies, people that are currently in the military. And their kids and their wives and their parents, and you know, if someone takes it, they're trying to provide it for somebody else. That's the coolest thing I see, and you know, it's working. So I will never stop making sure people have access to it. You know, it's I have nothing people can take away. I mean, you can put me in jail, you know, but outside of that, my freedoms. I'm not a doctor or scientist where I have a degree and you can fire me, you can take that away from me. So I feel like it's my duty to just tell people this is how it is. You know, this is how you can heal. This is how I healed.
Right. No, that's where I like collectively of, you know, who I know and who I've worked with in these spaces. That's where I think it's a powerful thing, because obviously California is at a decrim side. It's work with decrim, but I think people like ourselves and veterans and other people who we know, we can get it to a degree of legalization or something in that degree, because I believe, like I said, with the right people, everyone's doing it, but the people we mentioned, the people we know, I believe if we were to get something together in a real good way, I believe we can definitely make headway, because like I said, it's already real. Like, there's no lie, especially between you and I, what we know and the work we do. It's like, we know that these medicines help. They're not a cure-all. They don't take everything away, but the fact that we can get this thing to where it needs to go to get ourselves better and to get on a better path as human beings, that deserves to be talked about, because and deserves recognition, because a lot of the stuff that's been prescribed to us, it's like, it doesn't work. You know, it drives us insane. It puts us in binds. It fucking makes us pit each other against people, fucking divides everything. And so that's where I think with this now, to genuinely describe of how the human being can become more one whole with the spiritual nature aspect of Creator Mother Earth, but then to take that now into their own life and become a better father, mother, son, dad, grandson, grandmother, grandfather, whatever it may be, and then excel. I think that's what we need, and I think that's what's good, something that both of us can prescribe to people as far as excelling as human beings the best they can be. And so I thanks again for you know, being there, you know, recognizing what we do, and not being shady like a lot of people I've met and that we know, because there's a lot of shitheads out there who think their shit don't sneak in this game. But I'm just glad that we're able to hold it on and take it on. And thanks again, bro, because it's a lot of work, you know yourself. It's a lot of work out here and dealing with all this shit and politics and whatever. Fucking, I'm dealing with shit in decrim right now, so it's a lot of shit.
Yeah. You know, I mean, legality wise, that was my first job in psychedelics, was working for Decrim California, and I just don't like the entire process. The work, just the political stuff is not my bag. But we still have to be there. That's the thing. As people who are at the front of the industry, we, you know, because we have those connections. I mean, we have to have our faces there. You know, and it's there's just so many directions this is going. I mean, do I ever see it ever being legal? No. For your average day person, no. It'll be legal for a medical model,
Right.
And just maybe. Someone like myself or like yourself, we can get some sort. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're a native church,
Right. That's what I always tell people. I always tell people outside of the whole thing, it's like we already have our federal established rights and our church access. But no, as far as the grand scheme, I understand what you're talking about. Though. Totally understand where you're going at.
Some card carrying medicine person. I don't know how they would.
They're coming. I
know they're coming for me. It's a lot of sirens. There's never sirens going on around here. But you know, maybe that'll happen. And even if it doesn't happen, we're still going to be doing it.
Right.
You know,
still going to be doing it. We're still going to know who we know. And it's going to bang. Hey.
My affiliations with the political movement, with, you know, your church or our church, you know, a few other churches that I sit with and the other native cultures and the way that I talk about it and the platform that I have, I made sure to check all these boxes to, number one, show them my legitimacy, but also to keep me safe. Because if they really wanted to arrest me and bring me into court and all that stuff, if you bring up the church thing, then they've never won a case against that. So also people out there who are thinking about ingesting medicine, you can come to the church. It's not only free, but it's legal. Okay, obviously, you know, you're not leaving high.
Right, and you're not leaving with anything.
Yeah.
You're not. If someone's giving you a pound of mushrooms or a bag filled with chocolates of mushrooms, it's consumed in a ceremonial, you know, base, a ceremonial sense, and then that's it. That's the only time I'll ever be seen. I'll ever be consumed, and after that, it's like I said, it's nothing. You know, you're at church.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this is your legal right as an American citizen to live this way as a human. You know, through religious practices, you can do pretty much anything. So, yeah, just to know you're safe, you know, and to know that, like, also the medicine is only the beginning, because you have so many more steps to take. The things that you learn, you probably won't integrate in your life completely, or you won't understand for about a year.
Right.
It's literally a year.
It's a life integration. It's a life. You got to do it. That's what I was telling my brother the other day. I was like, you know, I know integration's tossed around a lot these days in the psychedelic community. I was like, but as far as what we do at the church, I was like, I think it goes beyond integration, because it's more of a whole lifestyle adapt change that you got to continually, like you said, a year, maybe won't even complete the download fully if you know, before you pass. You never know. But the fact, though, that you can have that and move with that and be able to know that your life now can change for the better, I think that's something worth that people need. You know, people need that, you know, because I know some people, they don't even want to continue. They're just like, fuck, just same job or this or that, or I'm stuck in traffic all day or fucking whatever. So I think people need that little boost to let them know that fucking, you know, they're all right, and fucking all around people that know, like, we got this shit.
Yeah, and talking story, going through things like the Sweat Lodge. You know, these are all practices that are going to bring you together with a community of people that, you know, you think you've bonded with your friends and family and stuff, but it's something different when you go through ceremony with people.
Right.
You connect on a level that you never knew was possible.
I know it was cool last time to see how you were helping Brad and everything, and for your brother. You know what I mean? That's what I like to see, people in real time being there for each other and going through real things. You know, and that's what we do at the church. We help people, you know, reconnect themselves, find themselves, and get back to where they need to be, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the medicine has been showing me. Like, you can take medicine, big doses, good for you. You like, still take the big dose if you want, but you need to help people.
Right.
I've done enough work within myself, you know. So it's time that I work on others. It's time that I lead them through this and help them. You know, if I got to hold their hand, I got to hold their hand. My brother thought he was dying for 5 hours. I had to talk him through it. You know, and usually, you know, you don't talk to people much while they're on psychedelics. You don't want to influence them. But that's my brother.
Right.
You know, it's my best friend.
And there's nothing wrong to tell, you know, people good things when they're going through bad things, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
At all. It's always a good thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like about the church, you know, like, people have all their misconceived ideas, but it's like, you know, we do real healing in time. It's not like, hey, man, call me back next week. We'll do a Zoom call. Like, I'll call you, you know, don't talk to me until next week. Yeah. It's like, no, we'll do it on the spot, and whatever we need, we go through it, you know, and we handle it, you know, and that's what I like about it, because I think that gives people that feeling of safe and you know, accountability, and they feel good too, because I know some places, I'm obviously not trying to say every place is like this or that, but I know not everyone has so much accountability when you go to play. It's like, you're in your own place, you stick to your own, maybe you have a couple friends you went with, but that's about it. And even then, because like you said, sometimes things come out, people are like, whoa, I didn't even know that about you, or I didn't even know, like, whoa, are you even my friend? Like, but like I said, at the Womfish, it really shows, and there's a real group of people there that have each other's back, and that will be like, hey man, it's okay, or, you know, it's all right, you know, take it easy, you know. And so I like that, because I think we need that, as well as, like you said earlier, pressure, you know, pressure creates diamonds. And like you said, I've encountered some weak men, some weak people have come to the Womkish and tried to claim that the Womkish wasn't safe, and try to claim this and that. And I'm like, man, I work with over 250 people, and for maybe less than 4 or 3 people to talk like this, I was like, man, you need to look at yourself. I was like, because at the end of the day, like, we're here to help you, we're here to help people, and like, sorry that I'm not always the most best to give advice, because I never say that I'm here to, like, because this is your journey, you know, this is what you came here for, to learn. I'm not here to you know, hold your hand. You know, I got people who can do that if that's what you want. But for instance, if you're gonna sit here and ask me if you have ancestors, and I kind of chuckle and say, yeah, like, if you looked at me and were like, Shane, do I have ancestors? And I'm like Ian, like, yes. Like, what the hell are you asking me that for? Like, so someone did that. I'm not gonna mention names, but they took that to heart, and ever since then they've been saying how I'm just rude, and I'm inconsiderate, and this and that. I make fun of people, and I'm just like, okay, like, sorry you didn't want to hear the truth. Like, I didn't say nothing wrong to you. You know, I might have laughed, you know, because I did think it's funny. And I never get that question too much, you know. So it was a little chuckle, you know. But at the end of the day, I still was there for you. The ceremony went on. You were catered. Fucking gave you a blanket, pillow, food. We had a good sweat. So, like, it's just funny to hear people talk about, you know, these certain things. But it's back to the point of, like, you know, being there and creating pressure for people, because people need that pressure. Like I said, I work with hard people, and I know that the Womkish brings a different pressure to people. You know, it's a different type of pressure. It's not someone yelling in your face. It's not you're getting hit. It's not you're gunning someone down. It's like internal. It's all different. It's all a different rush, so I say. And so that's where I think, you know, I think people should see that and understand that that's there for that purpose of recorrecting you and bringing you back. Because if not have that, you could probably go off the rails, or not even come to the truth or reality of what you're doing or how you are. So that gut check, you know, gut checks suck. You know what I mean? Especially if I always tell people, healing is not always easy. Like me, I'm not the best in shape, but to get into shape, I gotta give up my bad foods. I gotta give up my candy. I gotta give up my sodas. If I'm an alcoholic and I want to get better, I gotta give up the booze. That doesn't always feel good. If I'm a heroin addict, I gotta get rid of the needle. That doesn't always feel good. So what I'm telling people is, it doesn't always feel good. You know what I mean? Talk to anyone who's gotten better. It was rough. You know, before they got better, it was a little rough. So that's where I think people need to see the Womkish, and what we do is, that's what it is. It's more of like Creator Mother Earth's gut check to you, to let you know, like, you know, it's okay. You did what you did. You were who you were. But now you have a chance to let all that go and be an even better version of yourself. And that's where I think people need to see that, instead of being like, oh man, I don't like when people tell me I need to act right on mushrooms. Like, what the hell? Like, how are you gonna take, like, if you were acting wild and I'm like, hey Ian, bro, you need to relax, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be acting crazy. Like, I know, Shane, you don't ever tell me how to act on mushrooms. I'd be like, okay, bro, like, what's wrong with you? Like, we're in a ceremonial setting. Like, you would want me to come to your house and act a fool? Like, wouldn't you tell me, like, hey Shane, chill your ass out, bro? Exactly. And so for me, trips me out how this person kind of really spun this whole scenario into this whole, like, this guy doesn't have the right to tell me how to take medicine or tell me how to act. And but again, like I said, pressure makes diamonds. Pressure also makes things fold that can't support the weight. And that's a good thing. Like I said, it's good to know your strengths and weaknesses. It doesn't mean you got to get mad. Just like if I get in a fight and I lose, I got some shit to work on. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean I suck, like, as a human.
Exactly.
Like, I don't suck in general. I may suck. My skills might fucking been unpolished, or I might have, that's true. But in general, I'm still a good person, and that's how I feel like people need to look at the Womkish. Like, just because you get gut checked or a reality check, no one's saying you're a bad person. It's just saying now you have a chance to recorrect that and be a better person, and that's gonna take some time, and it might hurt, But anyways, all in all, good damn work what you're doing. I've always loved what you're doing. I love the help. I love the message. I'm glad that I met you. Like I said, that message, I'm glad we didn't meet at a bar or, hey Ian, let's do some coke, or none of that shit. It was like, hey bro, let's pray, let's do this, let's do some medicine. And here we are, continuing to help people. And thanks again for coming on the Womkish Talk. And
anytime.
And I hope everything goes good. And thanks again.
You too, man. Thank you.
Yeah.